Have you thought about taking a cruise with Virgin Voyages? If so, stick around because we've got 20 tips for you.
And 2 bonus tips for Virgin Voyages themselves.
Who likes a free glass of bubbly?
I do.
I do too. And if you do, why not check out the Sail Away pool party? And you are pretty much guaranteed to get at least 1 glass of bubbly.
Yes. So other than the bubbles, another big tip for the pool party and Sail Away event is to just get to know the Happenings cast. The Happenings cast are essentially the entertainment team on board, headed up by the hostess, which on other lines would be the cruise director. Always a really good group of people to get to know. But if you're lucky, you could also end up being invited to some secret events throughout the whole sailing, which makes the experience even richer because you get some real insider knowledge that builds on the whole experience and the myth of Scarlet Night.
Yeah, maybe find out some secrets.
Exactly. So another tip for your first day is, in our opinion, to take part in something called the Grog Walk. This happens in the evening of day 1 and sometimes day 3, dependent on the length of your sailing. At time of recording, it's $45 per person, so it's a paid experience. But in our opinion, it's actually very good value for money. What you tend to do on the Grog Walk, or what you do, is you go to 4 venues and you have a specific cocktail made in each venue. Sometimes that can't be found anywhere else or at any other time on the sailing. You also get some snacks, you meet and interact with a ton of people that also take part, and you get to know the Happenings team a little bit better, adding the chances for you to get invited to those secret events later in the ship.
Shh, it's a secret. The best way to end day 1 would be to check out the pajama party, so make sure you take some PJs with you before boarding. It's a really fun event right at the end of the night where you have a few drinkies, dance around and have fun. Now, if we're a little bit too noisy there, we might end up waking the hostess.
Yes. And if you do, she might even bring some fresh baked cookies for everyone. What's not to love about that? So this is a tip for when you're inside your cabin. One of the things that people tend to complain about on Virgin Voyages is a lack of storage space, but there's actually hidden storage within the room itself. So where the bed has the kind of sofa area compartment with a panel on front, that does pull out and there's a functional drawer. They've updated the design of this on some of the newer ships to actually have a handle to make it more obvious that it's there, but it is something that's been overlooked before. So if you're struggling for space, pull out that drawer and you've got loads more.
So no matter the time of day or night, we all get peckish, especially after partying. So if you are hungry and the pizza place is already closed, why not check out Diner and Dash in the galley? It's open 24/7, more or less, and you can get eggs with all the sides, i.e. bacon, toast, that kind of thing. And as I say, it's all available 24/7.
So another bonus of the galley is the coffee that they serve. The free coffee on board Virgin Voyages is actually really good. The paid for coffee is better, but the free coffee is actually of a really high standard already. So definitely consider that when you're looking at using your bar tab and the best way to do it. So if you're on board a Virgin Voyages trip in a sunny location, you might be looking for somewhere to sunbathe. Go figure. What we found to be the best place to do this is not actually around the pool deck. In the athletic club towards the aft of the ship, if you go up the flight of stairs there, where the canopy is, there's actually loads and loads of space on what we came to call the Reds. Just huge kind of day beds that span the whole back area of the ship. It was always really, really quiet there. There's a bar as well, so if you feel a bit thirsty during the day, you can get a top up pretty quick. And there's a couple of hot tubs either side, and it was always a lot quieter there than the pool deck itself. So just a really good spot to hang out.
Speaking of red, don't forget to pack some red clothing. Unlike other cruise lines, Virgin Voyages don't have a formal night, but they do have Scarlet Night. And essentially all you need to do apart from party is wear something red. And it's so much fun. I would actually recommend bringing 2 pieces of red clothing because if you're anything like us and you end up jumping into the pool after having 1 too many drinks, you will be very grateful of having a nice, dry, red item of clothing.
Yes.
Are you loving our content so far? If so, please give us a cheeky like, it helps us so much. One of the best things for us when it comes to Virgin Voyages is their dining experiences. It's simply amazing. And of course, because of this, restaurants do book up quite quickly. So before you get on the ship, check out the Virgin Voyages app. It's nice and easy. You'll be able to book your restaurants 45 days in advance before you board if you are a sailor, or if you are in the Mega Rockstar suites, you can book 60 days in advance. Definitely worth doing because it does fill fast.
Yes. It's also worth bearing in mind that not all food items are shown on the menu. In Razzle Dazzle, as an example, if you ask about the secret menu items, they'll be able to tell you what they are, and you can usually get some really nice meals that otherwise you wouldn't know about. Speaking of the Virgin Voyages app, it's actually really simple to do the online check-in process. From our experience, we'd recommend you do this as soon as it becomes available to do, because it's your best shot at getting an early embarkation time on the day of embarkation. That said, it's not the end of the world if you don't, because another thing that they do really well is they accept people's baggage before your embarkation slot. So what we did in Barcelona was get to the port, drop off our suitcases straight away, and then we went and checked out some of the bars. We've also done this in Portsmouth when we've sailed the Virgin Voyages as well. So you can go there, drop off your stuff, have a bit of a nice afternoon, and then get on board the ship.
On the Virgin Voyages app, you are able to pre-book things, but also you can add on packages before you go away. And one of the ones we took advantage of last time we sailed with them was the Splash of Romance package. It's really good. It was $200 last time we did it, so in our book, well worth it. It included a 3-hour pass in the thermal suite, free pressed juices every morning, some sultry treats, at least a couple of times per sailing, and also shake for champagne, which essentially you shake your phone whenever you fancy some champagne, and they will find you somewhere, wherever you are on the ship, and you will be given a bottle of champagne. Now, in terms of what it's worth, as I say, we paid around $200 for it last time we did it. In terms of actually when you stack it up, you're probably getting roughly $300 to $350 worth of value. So it's definitely worth checking out if you want to treat yourself that little bit more.
So, unlike other cruise lines, Virgin Voyages don't offer specifically a drinks package, but what they do is they offer bar tabs. For us, what we like about the bar tab side of things is that you don't kind of feel pressure to drink and get the most value or return for your drinks package. And if you pre-buy the drinks package online before embarkation, what Virgin Voyages do is they top it up with a percentage of what you put on. So if you buy $100 first, they'll add $10 to it, so you get 110 in value. If you buy 200, they'll add 25. And if you buy $300 drinks tab, they will add $50 on top. So they scale it. They give you a bit more for the more that you buy.
As we said earlier, one of the best things about Virgin Voyages, in our opinion, is the food. It's exceptional. Now, one of the restaurants, the Test Kitchen, tends to have 2 different menus. Now, this is really important, especially if you've got shorter sailing, because it's wise to have a look at the menus and see which one you'd prefer before you book. If you've got one of the longer sailings and you're lucky enough to try both of them, we'd definitely recommend it because they are both very different and they are both as scrumptious as one another.
So another tip while you're in the Test Kitchen from me is to check out their bar. They have what I still say is the best old-fashioned I've ever had in my life. It's called the Nutty Old Fashioned, and if it were up to me, I'd spend my entire share of the bar tab on that one drink alone. It's, as I say in our experience on board, it's like drinking Christmas. It's absolutely incredible, highly recommended. That said, I would really recommend checking out all of the bars because the cocktails are exclusive to certain bars in some cases, and the popcorn old fashioned in the red bar, which is located towards the back of Razzle Dazzle, is also beautiful.
Another thing we really like about Virgin Voyages is while you're waiting for food in some of the venues, rather than raising your hand or just waiting for someone to think that you might be waiting to order, one thing you can do is use the little flags that are on the menu. So on the little menus that they have, there's a little ahoy flag. So you just raise that whenever you want some food or drinks, and then a member of staff will see that, promptly come across to you and take your order, and then you put the flag down until you are ready to order more. It's great.
If you're enjoying this video, why not give us a cheeky subscribe and click that bell to be notified for upcoming videos. So our next tip involves the cargo net at the aft of the ship. Pretty much everyone wants that elusive selfie whilst you're up there, but you cannot wear your shoes when you're on the net. So it's a bit of an odd one from us, but a tip from me would just be to wear some thick socks because it's actually deceivingly painful to walk on. So definitely consider that while you're on board.
Really is. Maybe some of the toty ones that have
Just
the
for a bit of grip. Yeah.
Absolutely, but yeah, it's a really good shot to get, but a little bit painful.
Yes.
So if you're feeling peckish and fancy a quick treat, a good place to head to is between the dock and the dockhouse bar. They've got what's known as quickies, and they are quick treats such as salads, desserts, that kind of thing that you can just take and grab and go and sit down and just have a nice little treat.
Within these places, they actually have what I thought was the best dessert on the entire ship, just a kind of chocolate pot. Absolutely beautiful.
They were beautiful. I could eat one now.
I think I had 3 in one day at one point. Really good. Well worth it. So another tip from me is to check out the bungee class on board. So Virgin Voyages do have a bit of an active lifestyle reputation. That said, you do not need to be an expert or super fit to take part in these activities like I thought you did. I went into the bungee class with zero expectation that I'd be any good, which was accurate, but I still had a really fun time. I'd really highly recommend taking part in this.
Whether it's a sea day or you've decided to just stay on the ship, if it's a nice sunny day, a really nice spot to hang out by is the dock. We absolutely love this place, and it's perfect because you've got a bar, you've got amazing food, and some really nice places just to sit back, relax, and enjoy the sun. So definitely check it out.
Yeah, they have these amazingly huge, comfortable, big blue sunbeds, all that have shade as well, and they're really close in proximity to those quickies and those incredible chocolate desserts. Another tip that we'd definitely recommend people check out if you've enjoyed your experience is to look at your next sailing and book it whilst you're on board Virgin Voyages. It sounds like a no-brainer. It's not really new to cruisers to check out offers whilst you're on board, but from our experience, the offers that you get on Virgin Voyages to drive repeat customer and repeat loyalty are better than any other discount we've been offered aboard any other ship. So really do check that out. They become very, very good in terms of value for money, particularly with added things like bar tabs or onboard credit for your next sailing. Really worth checking out because you can save a small fortune on your next voyage. So our next tip is how to make the most of your Scarlet Night. We have sailed with Virgin Voyages twice, and we have loved Scarlet Night once. In order to kind of replicate the loved side of things and have what hopefully will be your best night at sea, we'd really recommend, and it sounds really obvious, but sticking with the wider group. They tend to kick things off in the roundabout, and there'll be a big red ceremony of some kind, without spoilers. So start there and everything else around you will make sense, and you can follow the night through and have the best experience, hopefully as we did.
It's the best. So our biggest tip for everyone, to be honest, just give them a go. Virgin Voyages are, I would say, probably our favourite cruise line now.
For sure for me, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. They're incredible. We're not sponsored by them at all. We never have been and probably never will be. But we absolutely adore them. They are a little bit of a Marmite cruise line, and we get that, but definitely don't knock it until you've tried it. They're amazing.
So we thought we'd do something a bit different with this kind of content and offer 2 tips from us to Virgin Voyages themselves. You might have figured that we pretty much love Virgin Voyages from the content we've put out so far, and we do. But that said, they're not the perfect cruise line. There's always room for improvement in anything and everything. So from us to Virgin Voyages, here are 2 tips for what we think will make you an even better cruise line. Tip 1, for me, would just be to remove the nets at the back of the ship. They're interesting, they look good, but they are painful, as we said before. One thing that I think would be really cool, just as a concept, would be to integrate some kind of slide, like on Royal Caribbean, the Abyss, to take you from the top of the ship all the way down to the dock house and arrive in style for a cocktail. Could be pretty cool.
That would be amazing. And from me, I'm kind of nicking this from another vlogger. So Sweet Natured, we love you. If you haven't checked out Sweet Natured's content, it is brilliant. We're big fans. But one thing they mentioned, which we absolutely would like to second, is we'd love to see a curry house on board Virgin Voyages. Because of I suppose there's so many bars and that kind of thing, people do tend to have a few drinks. And one lovely thing to do after having a couple of glasses of wine or 2 is to have a curry. And honestly, as amazing as the dining experiences are on Virgin Voyages, we think that would be the top of the list.
Yes. If you want to see more about our experiences on Virgin Voyages, why not check out our other vlogs, which are located here.
And also, we're going to be releasing lots more content this year, so why not subscribe?